Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
I guess we're kind of starting to prepare for what happens if people that are residents of Minnesota are traveling and don't have that driver's license.
Come the first of the year, millions of Minnesotans may not be able to get through airport security anywhere in the country. Thanks for joining us tonight. The showdown between Minnesota and the Department of Homeland Security dates back to 2009, when Minnesota lawmakers voted against adopting new requirements for ID cards. Now Minnesota is one of 4 states left, and in 2016, this next stage of the ID program goes into effect. Valley News Team's Bradford Eric talks with a local travel expert about what this could mean for you and what you need to do now to prepare.
Have your ticket and ID ready in hand when you get to the TSA checkpoint, something that's become second nature to the jet set. But in T-minus 3 months, you'll also need another government-issued ID ready if you're a Minnesota resident.
For entrance or anything to do with where you'd need ID for federal government institutions, and included that are flights that are regulated by the federal government, that the new enhanced driver's license is going to be required.
And Minnesota's standard issue IDs do not meet those requirements. A spokesperson for Minnesota's Department of Public Safety, the agency in charge of driver's licenses, says Homeland Security, quote, will give ample notice before full implementation. To date, they have not provided that notice. And it's coming down to the wire now. This is an issue raised during the last legislative session, too. Governor Dayton commented yesterday, saying when lawmakers voted against the program, there was some sort of, quote, big brother watching exaggeration, and he may have to call a special session to get the state in compliance. Todd Ganji with Travel Incorporated says he's paying close attention to this as it directly affects his clients.
Something hasn't happened in the next few weeks. We're going to start trying to contact or let them know in advance of booking that something is going to be needed.
The other forms of ID to get you onto a plane: a passport, military ID, tribal issue ID, and right now in Minnesota, an enhanced driver's license, which costs you an extra $15. And for this area, you have to go to Detroit Lakes or Bemidji to get it. Bradford Eric, Valley News Live.
Now we have more comments from Minnesota Governor Mark Dayton and the Department of Public Safety on our website, as well as a link to more information from the Department of Homeland Security. Just go to valleynewslive.com and then click on this story.
I'm Neil Carlson. Coming up tonight on Valley News Live at 6, are terrorists trying to recruit young people in our area to become members of ISIS? The answer may surprise you. It's a story you'll only see on Valley News Live tonight at 6.
It has been 1 year since the body of 18-year-old college student Tom Bierson was found in an RV sales lot in South Moorhead. Bierson was reported missing 3 days earlier and last seen at a house near the NDSU campus in North Fargo. A year later, many of the same questions about his murder still remain. Moorhead police insist that the murder case is still active. 6 officers recently met with behavioral experts at FBI headquarters to go through evidence and to find new leads. They're not releasing, though, what the experts found. Students at a school in Waubun, Minnesota are back in class and safe. That's after a bomb threat this afternoon. School Superintendent Lisa Weber tells us that the threat was found in a restroom stall at about 12:30. The school, which has about 340 5th through 12th graders, was evacuated. The all clear was given about 45 minutes later. Weber says a full investigation is underway. Heavy rain this morning caused some serious street flooding, as you can see. It happened in parts of our area. This is what 13th Avenue in West Fargo looked like this morning. The westbound lanes near Menards were shut down for part of the morning because of high water, and even when it did open back up, it was slow going for much of the morning commute. So how much rain did we get? Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson for a look at some rain totals. Hutch?
Stephanie, that was highly variable. Here in south portions of Fargo at the studios, we got 34 to 39 100ths throughout the day, but in North Fargo, Hector International reporting 80 100ths. A lot of places reporting a good 1/3 of an inch through the Southern Valley, not a drop up north. But some areas where you see the yellows and oranges, that's rainfall estimates of upwards of 1 to 3 inches of rain from this morning's round. Now, temperatures are cool. We're at 60. That's the high for the day so far in the FM area. 55, your high in Bemidji. It's been cool. Warmer, though, down to the south where high temperatures hit 70 in Sisseton and Wheaton. Some rumbles of thunder working their way up into the Devil's Lake Basin. Otherwise, hit and miss showers elsewhere. This may approach the Rock Lake area. Temperatures are going to be fairly steady through the evening. And yes, we could still see a passing shower, but not as heavy as earlier today. So have that umbrella handy, and I'll have your hour-by-hour forecast ready in just a couple of moments.
How things so swiftly change.
They do.
Okay, thanks, Hutch. Well, it's a very exciting day as our nation's capital hosts Pope Francis on his first trip to the United States. The Pope spoke alongside the president at the White House, but the pontiff did not steer clear of controversial issues tackling climate change, Cuba, marriage, and immigration. Washington Bureau Chief Jacqueline Policastro was there, and she has the latest.
It's a history-making day at the White House. President Obama and Pope Francis talk about their shared values to a crowd of thousands who are gathered to celebrate the Pope's visit. First, the national anthem of the Holy See, then the national anthem of the United States.
What a beautiful day the Lord has made.
President Obama and Pope Francis together at the White House. The Pope talking politics.
Climate change is a problem.
The pontiff didn't shy away from controversy. He also talked about marriage, immigration, and U.S.-Cuba relations. 11,000 guests filled the south lawn of the White House to hear the Pope speak.
I'm deeply grateful for your welcome in the name of the all Americans.
And as the Pope took on politics, President Obama welcomed the pontiff's advice and praised his spirit.
You remind us that the Lord's most powerful message is mercy. And that means welcoming the stranger with empathy and a truly open heart.
Pope Francis is clearly different in the way he interacts with the president and the people who come out to see him, and that's sure to have an impact on the White House and our nation. Reporting at the White House, I'm Jacqueline Policastro.
And in a highly symbolic moment, Francis will pass on lunch with lawmakers after addressing Congress tomorrow and will dine instead with homeless people in Washington. And this papal visit provides a terrific learning opportunity for local schools, particularly those affiliated with the Catholic Church. At Nativity Elementary in Fargo today, third graders in Brenda Kruger's class are learning much about this Pope. Kruger just returned from Rome and shared with her class the rosaries Pope Francis blessed. And there are also lessons on the symbols that are embedded in the Pope's clothing, his robes, even the ring he wears. But perhaps the strongest lesson these children are learning is about Pope Francis's passion for the poor.
That everybody should help everybody, like be nice to the poor and don't just drive right past them and try to give them money, a little bit of money, like $5 or something.
Well, tomorrow Pope Francis will address a joint session of Congress. He's the first to do so. This is scheduled for 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we will, of course, have full coverage for you on Valley News Live. North Dakota Republican Congressman Kevin Cramer is taking Democrats to task for using a filibuster to delay a military funding bill. Cramer claims Dems are simply using the filibuster in order to add social programs to the bill. He's co-signed legislation that would limit the use of a filibuster.
It's time to, at the very least, review the appropriate uses of the filibuster and to filibuster the spending for the defense of the nation because you want more social programs funded, I just think is one of those areas where it's inappropriate.
Cramer admits that it's legislation that will likely never be passed. However, he says it may at least start a discussion on this issue. Cramer was in Grand Forks today speaking at the UAS Summit. Not only is this week the start of all the fall season, but it's also hockey season. The Fargo Force have their home opener this Friday night already. Puck drops at 7, but before starting there at 6, free games, inflatable games are going to be going on the East Lawn for kids. This season brings new players and a new head coach, Kerry Eads, who's familiar to this region. He was a former hockey coach for UND. Now, he says fans will see an aggressive team on the ice.
I mean, we're going to play an up-tempo, aggressive style hockey where you like to play in your face and, you know, make the other team earn every inch of their ice and try to get the puck back as quick as you can and counterattack and crash the net and get some pucks in their goal.
To read more about the team, go to valleynewslive.com and click on this story under the Valley Today tab. The latest survey of North Dakota's bighorn sheep population is back. The numbers are up, but there's more to this story. The North Dakota Game and Fish Department says a health concern could impact the population.
The bighorn sheep and pneumonia can be very detrimental to the population, and just because we had it in 2014 doesn't mean we're not going to have it in 2015. So again, I wish, you know, the good news is the population is up 6% from last year. The bad news is that there could be some issues that cause them to struggle into the future, Lisa.
Now, here are the survey results. There are more than 300 bighorn sheep, a 6% increase from last year. There are also more than 80 rams, 150 ewes, and more than 50 lambs. Still ahead tonight, the latest on the emissions scandal at Volkswagen.
And we have a few showers and thunder showers along the northern valley. Your hour-by-hour forecast shows it does dry up and warm up. I'll have hour-by-hour details coming up in a moment.